ladies, welcome to CFG Craftstruction and part 2 of our beach hut video tutorial. Right, on the first part we constructed the main beach hut and attached it to the base. Now in this one I'm going to show you how I do the effect. I'll show you on here, getting the wood effect on the side of the beach hut. Now all you're going to need for this is some plain cardstock. Now I'm going to be using white because I'm going to be using some distress inks to ink it up a bit. You could use any colour you like. Okay, right, the first thing we're going to need to do is to cut it down to size. So we're going to need to measure. I'm going to do the front and the back first because they're harder to do. So I'm going to measure it. So we know it's 5 and it should be 8. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 5 by 8. So 5, and then we want to do it down to 8. 1 piece, and then the second piece. Don't throw these pieces away. That piece probably, but not these, because you could use these for tags in the album. Right, now then, next thing you want a scoreboard or something that you can score some lines onto. Now, we're going to need it so that the shorter edge is to the top. Or are we? No, we're not. Shorter edge is to the side, sorry. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to score every ½ an inch right to the very bottom. And you're going to do this on both pieces. I need to score down mine twice because this score tool isn't very good, and the original, my Martha Stewart one's blunt as anything. I keep meaning to get another one, but you know, you get sidetracked and forget things like that. Right. On my original beach hut that I gave to a dear friend, she knows who she is, I actually did the faux boards on the beach hut, totally different than this. I cut them out singularly and I stuck them on, each board individually. Took me forever, and it was a lot harder to do. This is a very, very easy and quick way of doing this, and I do recommend that you do it this way. Right, as I say, you need to do that on both pieces. So it's taking some time. I hope this is going to be okay. I'm only scoring it down once. Make sure you use a good quality cardstock, because it's going to be inked and folded, so you know you don't want it to tear or anything. This has also got a slight texture to it. I can't really show you in this light, but it is slightly textured, like a Hessian texture to it. Right, board out the way. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ink this before I fold it. So excuse the state of my mat. Right, now I'm going to use weathered wood. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the whole thing in this weathered wood. You obviously can do whatever colour you like. I mean, if you're going to be using a coloured cardstock, you're not going to need to do this. But I really like this colour, and I do want it to look like it is a weathered beach hut that's been stood around for years. cover the entire piece. You can do it dark, patches of dark and light. Right, when you're happy with the effect that you've got, what you need to do then is to start and fold. See, that's all come off on that. I'm going to move this out of the way now. I'm going to start and fold over. We're going to see it, but there we go. Each section. You don't need to go over it with your score tool, your bone folder. It doesn't need it. Right, keep going all the way up to the top. Right, now when you've done that, you want to accentuate the boards. Now you can either go over with the blue again, or you could use a contrast colour. Now I'm going to use Gathered Twigs because I really want those boards to pop. So I'm going to fold over and then I'm going to go along each edge. I don't know if you can hear that, but I've got a nest of baby jackdaws. Although my windows are closed, I have in the corner there is a, oh, what is it called? And it's an ivy. Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. But it's really it's an evergreen one, and it's also a clematis that's growing up in the corner. And the jackdaws have built a nest in there, and there's about, I can only assume that there's about 4 because they are so noisy. And I can't open the window because you wouldn't be able to hear me. You know, as soon as you go out the front door, they start chirping away, quite obviously crying out for food. And they are probably about, from where I'm sat, I would say maybe 6 feet, if that. So they're going to make the most of it because the ivy is all going to be come down this year because it's getting quite old and it needs to have a good prune. Right, so there we go. You can see how I've done that. That really makes those boards pop. Right, I think what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to go around the edges a little bit as well. Not very much, just a little bit around the edging. Right, now the next thing you need to do is get our heart. Now what we're going to do now is stick this on. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. I'm going to cut it all out yet, but I'm not going to do that yet because I'll show you how to do that in a minute. PVA glue, and I'm going to put it on the actual chipboard. I'm not going to put it on the paper because I just find it easier. Right to the point, make sure that it's well stuck down. Then you're going to get your cards, your cardstock that you've just marked and inked, and stick it on the top. Don't worry about these edges because they're going to be covered. Give it a good burnish down. There we go. Make sure it's right to the edge. Now what you're going to do is you're going to leave that to dry just for a few minutes, and then what we're going to do, we're going to cut it out. So I haven't got that luxury of waiting, so I'm going to have to do this now. So now to cut it out, what I'm going to use the edge of the table. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to bring it to the edge of the table, and I'm going to lie it down so that the front, this piece here, goes over the side of the table. And then I can go round, I can get my craft knife. Whoop! Sorry about that, popped undone. I can get my craft knife, and then I can go down and trim off the edge. Same on the other side. There we go. Chuck that away. And there we have the front of our beach hut. And then when the door goes on, that's all going to be stained up and painted as well. You can see it's starting to look good already. Well, I think it is anyway. Okay. Right. So that's what we need to do. You're going to go away now and you're going to cover. Don't forget, obviously, you do exactly the same on the front. You could actually cut this down to size before. So you cut that down, measure that, which is 7 by 5, and you'll cut that down exactly the same, making sure that you put your boards going the same direction, so they're horizontal, not vertical. Okay, right, you go away, cover the entire thing. When we come back, we'll do the door and start the porch. Okay, see you soon. Bye.